Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a plunge into the world of the Communications Security Establishment,
Okay.
CSE,
That's right.
an agency playing a really crucial role, often behind the scenes, in keeping Canada safe, both nationally and economically.
Absolutely vital.
So our mission today, we're going to unpack CSE's latest annual report, the one for 2024-2025.
Yep.
We want to see how their work, which can seem a bit distant maybe, actually impacts the safety and well-being of all Canadians. And, especially find insights for public servants like you listening.
Mm-hmm.
Security agencies, they can feel like a bit of a black box, right?
Highly secure vault, maybe?
Understandably so sometimes.
Yeah. But this report, it really does pull back the curtain in some fascinating ways. Shows how their dedication makes a real, tangible difference across the country.
And it's key to remember, CSE is Canada's cryptologic agency.
Cryptologic, so codes and ciphers. Exactly. The science of secret communication, making codes, breaking codes. And this unique position lets them lead on foreign signals, intelligence, cybersecurity, and importantly, foreign cyber operations.
Okay.
A lot of their work, yeah, it's unseen, has to be. But the impact, it resonates daily. Federal government, provinces, territories, indigenous governments, even municipalities.
Wow, that broad.
It really forms part of the invisible backbone for a lot of our secure digital life in Canada.
Okay, so let's get down to basics. Who exactly is CSE within the machinery of government?
Well, they're a standalone agency. They report directly to the Minister of National Defense.
Got it.
And a really key part of CSE, you need to know about this, is the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity. The Cyber Center.
Ah, yes, the Cyber Center. Heard a lot about them.
They're Canada's operational and technical lead for cybersecurity and information assurance. Basically, keeping our critical digital stuff safe and available.
And they're pretty big, right? What's the scale?
Oh yeah, we're talking 3,841 full-time employees. And the budget for 2024-2025, over $1 billion.
$1 billion. Wow, that's significant.
It is, and that scale, it's not just about size. It reflects Canada's commitment, really, to keeping pace with global threats. These threats are growing exponentially. They're more complex.
So that billion, it's less a cost, more like a critical defense investment in the digital age.
Precisely, a national defense mechanism, really. And zooming out a bit, context is important here. CSE is a key member of the Five Eyes Alliance.
Right, the Five Eyes. We hear that term a lot. Canada, U.S., U.K.
Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and the US.
Yep.
It's the world's longest-standing, closest intelligence-sharing alliance. Signals intelligence, cybersecurity agencies.
So it's not just about sharing gossip.
Not at all. This partnership, it hugely amplifies Canada's capabilities, our reach. It lets us defend against really complex global threats that, honestly, no single nation could handle alone.
Makes sense. Stronger together.
It means Canada is just far more resilient with these allies than we'd ever be on our own.
Okay, so they have this big budget, big team, international partners. What are they actually mandated to do? The report mentions the Communications Security Establishment Act, the CSE Act.
Right, the CSE Act lays out their mandate. It's pretty comprehensive. 5 core parts.
Okay, what are they?
Foreign signals intelligence, that's collecting intelligence from foreign communications. Cybersecurity and information assurance, protecting our own systems. Active cyber operations, taking action online against foreign threats. Defensive cyber operations, protecting Government of Canada systems. And finally, technical and operational assistance to federal partners, like law enforcement or defense.
That's a lot. With threats changing all the time, how do they even prioritize? And, maybe more importantly for our listeners, what does all this actually mean for you working in the public service?
That's the crucial link, isn't it? For you, the public servant, CSE's work. It's not just abstract spy stuff or distant cyber battles.
Right.
It provides the secure foundation for so many government operations. Think delivering social benefits, protecting sensitive health data, financial information.
Okay, I see.
Their intelligence, their advice, it delivers critical insights. That informs public policy, service delivery, stuff that directly affects Canadians' daily lives.
Can you give an example? Like, how does that connect to my work if I'm, say, developing a new online service for citizens?
Perfect example. When you're working on that new digital service, maybe it involves sharing citizen data securely.
Yeah, often.
CSE's work, like their information assurance guidance, is that unseen layer ensuring the data stays protected. It means you can focus on the policy goal, the user experience, the service's impact, without constantly worrying if the digital backend is vulnerable.
Ah, okay. So they handle the deep tech security side, so we can focus on the what and why.
Exactly. That's information assurance in action, making your job possible in a way.
Okay, so they provide this foundation. Let's get more concrete. How do they actually do it? Let's talk about foreign signals intelligence first. This sounds like the spy movie stuff. How does CSE collect intelligence, and how does that actually help make decisions that affect Canadians?
Right, but first, super important clarification. CSE's foreign intelligence collection, it is not directed at Canadians or anyone in Canada, ever.
Okay, good to know. Very clear distinction.
Absolutely. Their work is strictly guided by Government of Canada intelligence priorities set by Cabinet.
So, examples. Where does this foreign intelligence make a difference?
Okay, think Arctic sovereignty. Huge priority for Canada. CSE provides vital intelligence to support our security up north.
How so?
This past year, they shared 196 intelligence reports just on Arctic security, shared them with 20 different Government of Canada departments, plus international allies.
196 reports. What's in them?
Details on foreign states' political intentions in the Arctic, their military capabilities, economic interests. They also directly support the Canadian Armed Forces, monitoring threats from foreign adversaries up there. They even provided warnings about Russian military aircraft as part of NORAD operations.
Wow. Okay, so even though it's foreign intelligence, the direct link to protecting Canadian territory and interests is really
It
clear.
is still clear.
Okay, Arctic intelligence, that's one major impact area. Are there other examples where their work hits closer to home, maybe more immediate public safety
Oh,
stuff?
absolutely. Take border security. And specifically, the fight against illicit synthetic drugs like fentanyl.
A huge problem.
Massive. The government invested $180 million over 6 years, specifically to boost CSE's ability to target the transnational organized crime groups involved, the ones trafficking fentanyl.
So CSE is actively working to disrupt those supply chains.
Directly, helping prevent those dangerous drugs from reaching our communities. It's a direct contribution to public safety.
And they work with other agencies on this.
Oh, yeah. CSE is a lead player in something called the Joint Operational Intelligence Cell, the JOIC.
I see. Okay.
They work side by side there with RCMP, CBSA, Public Safety Canada, CSIS, Fine-Tracky, sharing timely, relevant intelligence, that kind of direct interagency collaboration. It's critical for protecting our communities from these kinds of threats.
Okay, so they're gathering intelligence, helping secure borders. It sounds like they're also getting more proactive, actually disrupting threats online. Let's talk about those foreign cyber operations. The report says they need authorization from the Minister of National Defense, right? And they can't obstruct justice or cause bodily harm.
That's correct. Very strict rules.
So imagine some online threat group is targeting Canada. CSE steps in to disrupt them. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, this past year provided a really compelling example. It showed how different parts of CSE work together. You had their foreign intelligence folks, their foreign cyber operations teams, the ones who take active measures outside Canada, and the cyber center teams.
All working together.
All working together. They identified a ransomware group that was actively targeting an industrial sector really important to Canada's critical infrastructure.
Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds serious.
It was. But what's really impressive here is the speed. They detected the threat, and they disrupted the group's operations all within 48 hours.
48 hours. That's fast.
Incredibly fast. And they notified the potential victims immediately. This likely saved Canadian organizations millions of dollars, tons of disruption. It's a direct, measurable impact on our economy and essential services.
Okay, so they're disrupting threats behind the scenes. Very cool. But what about the threats we can see? Or maybe the ones we need to know about? CSE publishes unclassified cyber threat assessments. How do those reports help, someone like me or anyone in government or business understand the risks and protect themselves?
Yeah, those public assessments are really important. They're designed to inform everyone, all levels of government, critical infrastructure operators, businesses, even the general public.
What kind of things do they highlight?
Well, for instance, the National Cyber Threat Assessment 2025-2026, it flags that the People's Republic of China runs the most sophisticated and active state-sponsored cyber program targeting Canada.
Good to know.
It also confirms ransomware is still the top cybercrime threat we face, just relentless.
Right.
And there was an important update to the cyber threats to Canada's democratic process assessment.
Election interference.
Exactly. It details the growing use of artificial intelligence, AI by foreign adversaries, like Russia and the PRC,
Using AI for what?
for disinformation campaigns, creating deep fakes to target politicians, public figures, and the report specifically notes that women and 2S LGBTQI plus people are often disproportionately targeted by this kind of online abuse and disinformation.
That's disturbing. But knowing about it is the first step, I guess.
Exactly. These reports empower you as a public servant or just as a citizen with the knowledge to recognize these evolving threats, to protect yourself and your work. Imagine you're working on, say, communicating a new government policy online. Reading these assessments could really change how you think about security, maybe even how you handle online engagement or verify information.
It's really clear CSE isn't operating in some kind of vacuum.
Yeah.
You've mentioned collaboration a few times. This isn't just CSE working alone, right? It sounds like more of a team sport strengthening Canada's overall resilience.
Yeah.
How does that collaboration work across government and with other sectors?
Totally, a team sport. You can't do effective cybersecurity or intelligence in a silo. CSE and the Cyber Center, they work closely with over 150 Government of Canada organizations,
150, wow.
providing crucial security briefings, even helping out smaller departments that maybe don't have huge internal IT security teams. And they support really high-impact projects like Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC. They have that huge benefits delivery modernization program underway.
Oh yeah, BDM.
Yeah.
Massive project.
Huge. And CSE is providing cybersecurity support for it. That's a direct link to the public services that you, listening, might be involved in delivering. It shows how CSE helps build that secure, reliable foundation for the services Canadians depend on.
Okay, and speaking of critical functions, what about elections? There's that site task force, right? Security and intelligence threats to elections. How does CSE fit in there with partners like CSIS, RCMP, Global Affairs? How do they monitor foreign interference?
Right. The site task force is a really good example of that whole of government approach. It brings everyone together during an election period.
And CSE's role?
CSE contributes its unique foreign signals intelligence capabilities, trying to detect foreign state activity that's aimed at influencing our democratic process or maybe undermining public confidence in the election.
And do they help political parties directly? Because they can be targets too.
They do. The Cyber Center offers a 247 hotline specifically for political parties and candidates to report any cyber incidents they experience.
A hotline, okay.
Yeah. And they proactively brief the parties too on common cyber threats, best practices for security. It's a very clear, tangible commitment to protecting the integrity of our democracy that's vital for every single Canadian.
The report also talks about the National Cybersecurity Strategy and something called the Canadian Cyber Defense Collective, CCDC. How did those initiatives help? Do they reach beyond just federal government networks?
Yes, absolutely. Especially the CCDC, the Canadian Cyber Defense Collective. That's where you really see the public-private partnership in action.
How does it work?
It brings together government and key players from the private sector, critical infrastructure operators, businesses, plus provinces, territories, municipalities, indigenous governments.
So everyone's at the table.
Pretty much. The idea is to advance Canada's overall cyber resilience through shared intelligence, shared innovations, shared best practices. It's about building a collective shield, basically, that protects way more than just federal systems. It strengthens the nation as a whole.
I thought it was really interesting reading about specific support for provinces and territories, too. Like, they proactively put sensors on government IT systems up in Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut to detect malicious activity.
Yeah, that's proactive defense, getting ahead of the threat.
And there's this tool, Observation Deck, an interactive web app that helps those governments see their own cybersecurity posture.
That's right. Observation Deck gives them tailored threat information.
That must provide some real peace of mind for those local governments and for their citizens, too. Knowing there's that extra layer of monitoring and support, it feels like a very direct, measurable improvement for those communities.
It is. And that proactive approach, it actually has economic benefits, too, which might surprise some people.
Economic benefits. How?
Through pre-ransomware notifications, the Cyber Center identifies organizations that seem to be targeted before the ransomware actually gets deployed.
So they're given a heads up.
Exactly, an early warning.
Right.
And by doing that, in 2024, 2025, they estimate they potentially averted somewhere between 74 and 148 actual ransomware incidents.
Wow. And the economic impact of that.
They estimate the savings for those Canadian organizations was somewhere between $6 and $18 million.
6 to 18 million, just from those warnings.
Yeah, that's real money saved, real operational disruption avoided, protecting businesses, hospitals, municipalities from devastating attacks. It's a very tangible impact.
Okay, so they're reacting to threats, they're being proactive. What about looking further ahead? How is CSE preparing for the future, especially with, the elephant in the room?
Hmm.
Emerging tech, like artificial intelligence,
Right.
AI.
Right. AI is obviously huge, both an opportunity and a threat. CSE has developed its own artificial intelligence strategy. It's built on a framework they call 3 plus 4 plus 1.
3 plus 4 plus 1. Okay, what's that?
The three are the core goals: innovating with AI, championing responsible AI use, and countering the malicious use of AI by adversaries.
Makes sense. And the 4 plus 1.
The four are the enablers: people, partnerships, ethics, and infrastructure. And the plus one, that's governance, making sure it's all managed properly.
Okay, comprehensive. Are they doing practical things with it now?
Definitely. For instance, for public servants like you, the Cyber Center's Learning Hub just launched new courses specifically on generative AI.
Like ChatGPT and tools like that.
Exactly, tools that create new content. These courses are designed to help you, in the public service, understand how to leverage these powerful AI tools safely and ethically in your work, recognizing the potential but also mitigating the risks.
That sounds incredibly useful. So they're trying to upskill the workforce.
They really are. Investing in making sure their own people and the broader public service are ready for the AI era. They also rolled out a big internal project called SIGINT Canada. It basically transformed how they manage and share intelligence data internally, making them much more efficient and able to work better together and with partners, using tech to improve their own operations.
Now let's shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about the tech, the operations, the intelligence, but what about the who? What makes CSE tick internally? What makes it a leader in the public service? And how does that internal culture actually help them achieve their mission?
That's such an important question. Because how does a strong internal culture actually contribute to national security, right?
Yeah.
Well, CSE seems to believe very strongly that, and this is a quote they use, diversity is CSE's mission strength.
Diversity's mission strength. Okay, unpack that.
It means having employees from all sorts of different backgrounds brings a wealth of perspectives, different ways of thinking, different expertise, and that's absolutely essential for accurate intelligence gathering and analysis.
How so? Can you give an example?
Well, think about analyzing foreign communications, having native speakers on the team, people with deep cultural understanding of a region. They can pick up on nuances, subtleties, context that someone without that background might completely miss. That avoids misinterpretations that could lead to, frankly, flawed intelligence.
Right. Makes perfect sense. Avoid dangerous misunderstandings.
Exactly. I remember hearing an anecdote internally where a really subtle cultural nuance picked up by just one team member from that background completely changed the understanding of a piece of intelligence. It potentially prevented a serious misstep.
Wow.
And they're clearly doing something right in terms of workplace culture generally. They've been recognized as a top employer for young people every year since 2017 and a top employer in the National Capital Region for 10 years running now.
10 years. That's consistency.
It reflects, I think, a real commitment to creating a positive, supportive, and inclusive environment.
That's great to hear. And it sounds like it's not just, buzzwords on a poster. The report mentions concrete steps they're taking to foster equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. EDAA.
Yes, they're embedding EDI principles right into things like employee performance assessments. They've created a whole new division focused specifically on EDAA. They've hired an Indigenous career navigator to support Indigenous employees.
An Indigenous career navigator. Interesting.
Yeah, and they're running a sponsorship program specifically for employees who are racialized, Indigenous, or persons with disabilities to help advance their careers.
So this isn't just about ticking boxes or compliance. It sounds like they see it as fundamental to being a high-performing organization.
That seems to be the message. Creating an environment where everyone feels supported, valued, and can contribute their best work actually strengthens their core mission of national security. And that commitment, it seems to run pretty deep organizationally. For example, gender-based analysis plus GBA plus training is mandatory for all staff now.
GBA plus mandatory for everyone.
Okay. And it's integrated into key processes. Like when they prepare Treasury Board submissions for funding or develop new operational policies, they have to apply a GBA plus lens.
So what does that mean in practice? How does GBA plus apply to, say, cybersecurity policy?
Well, it means when CSE develops something like maybe a new cyber awareness campaign for the public, they have to think about how it impacts different groups of Canadians, not just some generic average Canadian.
Right.
How does this campaign reach a new immigrant with limited English? Or an Indigenous person living in a remote community without reliable internet? Or someone using assistive technologies due to a disability? GBA Plus ensures policies and programs are designed to be equitable and practical for all Canadians they're meant to serve or protect.
That makes it much more effective, presumably.
Exactly. They also have, I think it's 11 employee affinity groups now. Things like the Pride Network, Women in Cyber and Intelligence, Embrace for racialized employees. These groups provide community support, but they also give valuable perspectives directly to senior leadership. It helps make the organization more inclusive, more effective, and ultimately better reflect the diverse country it serves.
Considering how secret much of their work necessarily has to be,
hmm
it's genuinely impressive that CSE also seems strongly committed to transparency and accountability. How do they balance that secrecy with public trust?
It's a difficult balance for sure, but they do participate actively in external reviews. There are independent bodies like the National Security and Intelligence Review Agency, NSIRA, and the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, NSICOP. CSE engages with both.
So independent eyes looking at their work.
Yes. And just recently, they provided massive support to the public inquiry on foreign interference. The report says they provided over 85,000 documents to the commission.
Look at 5,000 documents.
Yeah. It shows a willingness, I think, to be scrutinized, to be accountable, even in these highly sensitive areas. It's about building public trust and showing they're committed to constantly improving.
Yeah, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground.
We certainly have.
What are the key takeaways? For me, it's clear CSE is a vital agency.
Yeah.
It's innovative, it's increasingly transparent, and its work across foreign intelligence, cybersecurity, even its internal focus on inclusivity. It all directly contributes to keeping Canadians safe and also strengthening the public service itself. Their dedication really does ensure that the digital backbone of our country stays strong. And importantly for you listening, it means your work as public servants is built on a more secure foundation. That allows you to focus on what you do best, delivering those essential services to Canadians.
And maybe looking at the bigger picture here, all this detailed work CSE does, whether it's disrupting a ransomware group halfway across the world, or ensuring GBA Plus is used in policy development, or fostering an inclusive workplace, it isn't just about protecting abstract systems or data.
Right.
Fundamentally, it's about protecting and improving the actual lives of Canadian citizens. So perhaps a final thought, or maybe a question for you listening. How might your own daily work, no matter what your role is in the public service drafting policy, managing data, delivering frontline services, whatever it is, how might that contribute to this broader goal of a safer, more secure Canada? And maybe what new opportunities for collaboration, perhaps even with CSE or the Cyber Center, might this deep dive have sparked for you?
That's a really powerful thought to end on. A great question for everyone to consider. And we absolutely encourage you to explore more. Check out some of the resources we mentioned today. The Cyber Center's Learning Hub is fantastic. It includes the Discover Cybersecurity course made specifically for public servants.
A great starting point.
Definitely. Or check out the Get CyberSafe Public Awareness campaign for tips you can use in your work and personal life. There's always more to learn, always ways to apply this knowledge. Thanks for diving deep with us today.